Retail house flipping. That's where more profits are, and they're waiting for you, especially when the market is hot. If you're ready, let's rock. Hey, Mark Walters here. In this video, we're talking about retail house flipping. This is just one income source within real estate that you can be stacking. I cover all 21 ways inside of my real estate income stacking handbook. Retail house flipping is actually found inside of model number 1 of the real estate income stacking blueprint here. You're going to get this absolutely free when you get your handbook. And there's instructions on how to set that up, and I'll put a link in the description. So one of the nice things about retail house flipping is the fact that potentially you can sell the property for a much higher price than if you were flipping the house to a wholesale buyer. That'd be another investor who's then going to take that house, maybe rehab it, flip it, or just take it and flip it to somebody on their buyer's list. So they need a huge discount, which means you've got to find the property at a huge discount as well. It's all about finding huge discounts and then taking a spread in between those different levels. What you're buying it for at a huge discount, oftentimes at least a 70% loan to value ratio is what an investor expects. So you've got to be buying that property for less than that and then selling it to them. So as you can see, you're selling it to them way below fair market value, which can be fine, but it's also important to know that depending on the market, there could be retail buyers that would be interested in that property. And if the numbers work for you, and we'll talk about this in a second, it could be another option. Now, why would you want to sell to a retail home buyer? A couple reasons. It's not just the higher price. Let's say your marketing uncovers a nice bargain house. And I figured out 85 ways to uncover bargain houses. I'll put a link to my bargain house dominator in the description. The important thing to realize is as you are generating incoming bargain house leads, not all of them are going to be at a discount that's low enough for you to be able to make money flipping it to a wholesale buyer. So instead of just passing on that kind of a deal, what about a retail buyer? So let's say the market isn't screaming hot and you don't have bidding wars where people are just bidding the price up. It's more of a normal market, let's just say. And let's say you find a property at a deep discount, just not deep enough so that you could make a profit from a wholesale buyer. So instead of passing on that deal, you might consider selling it to a retail buyer at a discount below fair market value, but not as much of a discount as is required by a wholesale buyer. So some of the numbers that you need to consider here, besides just the sizzle of, hey, I can sell this for more, is you're going to have some holding costs that are associated with this because of this type of an exit strategy. With a wholesale buyer, they've got cash, they can close fast. With a retail buyer, chances are they're going to need to get traditional financing. So you've got two different time periods that you're dealing with here if things go efficiently. One is you've got to spend some time finding the buyer. The next is you've got to then wait for that buyer to be able to qualify for the loan and have that process so that you can actually get to the closing and then get cashed out. So assuming everything goes smoothly, you find a buyer relatively quickly, they can qualify for a loan, and then it's 30, 60, 90 days more, depending on the market for this deal to close, well, you're going to have some holding costs there. So you need enough money in the deal for it to make sense, so you're at least making the minimum amount of profit that you require for each deal. And then because there's going to be holding costs, you may need some money to be able to make a mortgage payment, do some repairs, do whatever needs to be done because you haven't gotten any money from this deal yet. You've got to wait for it to close. So it's a different type of exit strategy that requires some reserve cash so you can pay whatever bills during this waiting period until the deal closes. But it could be that there's enough profit in the deal that if you've got that money on the side to be able to hold that property long enough to sell it, it could be that you're very happy that you did. It's up to you. You've got to crunch those numbers, do your due diligence so that you know going into a deal what your exit strategy can be. Is it going to be a wholesale buyer? Is it going to be a retail buyer? Are you going to do it on a rent-to-own basis? Are you going to keep the property because it's just that good? So there are a few exit strategies, and as your bargain house marketing is creating more leads coming in. You're just figuring out, okay, what exit strategy makes sense here, and then crunch the numbers, see if they're going to work. If they get past that due diligence, start to consider more of the things within that deal so that you have more odds for success and you can sleep at night. You're just waiting for that profit once that deal closes. That's what retail house flipping gives you as yet one more exit strategy to consider. You just need to know there's going to be some holding costs associated with it, so make sure there's enough profit in that deal. Again, this is just one potential income source of 21 that I share inside of my real estate income stacking handbook. And you're going to get the blueprint here that has different stacks of real estate income sources that naturally dovetail together. So you can begin to collect different income sources within real estate. You get this absolutely free when you get the handbook. Again, there's more information in the description. And if you like the idea of collecting different types of income sources within real estate, definitely check out my next video because we'll be talking about more ways that you could be doing just that. I appreciate you being here. It's been nice to be able to share this with you. Let's continue the conversation in the next video.